Good afternoon, everybody. This is Arun Mehra, and I'm talking to you today about understanding your finances to grow your practice profits. Now, firstly, a big apology. I was meant to do this evening, but I've had to record it in advance. Life has got in the way, and a few other issues with life I have to deal with, which take priority over the webinar. But without further ado, I'm going to still share 10 to 15 minutes worth of knowledge and experience to you to help you grow your profits. So, myself, 15 years in the dental industry, trained accountant with PwC. We are now growing at a very nice rate as a firm of chartered accountants, practice sales, financing. We work with hundreds and hundreds of dentists across the UK. At the same time, I've had a lot of experience learning about how to run clinics through the Neemtree Dental Group, so a lot of experience and knowledge has been learned through that process as well. So that gives me a real insight to share my knowledge and experience to yourselves this evening or today. So let's crack on. Tip one, get your accounts done at least quarterly. Basically what I'm trying to say is keep on top of your accounts so then you know the position of how you're doing. How is the business performing? What's going on? And then you can see the turnover, you can see all the costs, and you can then make quality decisions, because getting your accounts done is all about making good quality decisions about how the business is performing. Quite often or not, you might just put your head in the sand and say, "I'll see how it goes and see what happens at the end of the year," but really not a good idea. Technology is there, available now, to get your accounts all set up via income details coming from the bank, and it can all be, a lot of it can all be automated and done very slickly using systems such as Xero, Receipt Bank and other technological advances to help you produce something called like a monthly P&L or monthly or quarterly balance sheet. And if you're not getting that or doing that already, you need to be doing that. So get in touch with us if you need some help with that. What will those quarterly accounts tell you? You'll get through like a P&L. A P&L is a profit and loss account showing the turnover less the costs. So ideally, hopefully getting a profit. A balance sheet is a snapshot in time of what you owe and what you own effectively. And that will tell you what your assets are and what your liabilities are at a particular point in time. One thing that might not come on that, but you still should consider getting done, is having a quarterly or monthly or even a cash flow forecast done, so you can see the flow of cash coming in and out of your business. So a cash flow forecast will be able to determine when do you need cash into your business, if you need to get a loan, if you need to get an overdraft facility, or if you need further funding into the business. Remember, it's not losses that kill a business, it's the lack of cash that does that. So tip one, get your accounts done quarterly, get a P&L done using Xero and a balance sheet, and make sure you have a cash flow forecast in place so you can always be predicting what your cash requirements of the business are going forward. Tip two, monitor some KPIs. KPIs are key performance indicators. What I've got here are lab costs, typically between 8 and 12% of turnover, material costs between 5 and 8, employee costs between 16 and 20. So what I'm trying to stress here is monitor these key costs within your business. If you're on top of these, you'll be doing very, very well. Now, if you're below these numbers, you're doing great. If you're above these numbers, it could be a combination of either thing. It could be you're spending too much, which you need to pare back on, or it could be that your turnover is way too low and you need to grow that turnover somehow, and with some marketing ideas and getting the right dentists to deliver the right type of care to patients. So, but key things that you need to be monitoring. Tip three, well, it's not really a tip, it's more about an understanding. So the next few slides are all about different scenarios, and they will highlight how you can increase your profitability by understanding the finances. So in this example, we've got a gross of a practice of about 200k, overheads of 140, therefore profits about 60. If you cut your costs by 10%, that means it adds profits of 14k. So therefore a net increase from 60 to 74k of 23%. Very good if you can cut your costs. Another option is you become more efficient. Your gross is 200, but you increase your fees by 20k, by 10%. Your variable cost might go up, but your profit therefore goes up from 60 to 76k, a net increase of 27%. So if you can become more efficient, in this example, 27% increase. If you put your fees up, which a lot of people are hesitant to, but if you do, in this example, gross goes from 200 to 220, profit from 60 to 80, a net increase of 1/3 or 33%. A nice growth, very nice growth figure if you can get those turnover fee figures up. Sometimes you might lose patients. So I've just tried to paint a different picture here. You might lose some patients, but still, if you lose 5% of your patients by putting your fees up, your profits will still go up from 60 to 70, a net increase of 17%. So what I've painted here are 4 different scenarios. One is cutting costs. One is becoming more efficient and generating a bigger growth. Another one is doing exactly the same growth and just putting the fees up. Another one is putting the fees up and maybe losing a few patients. But in culmination, if you put them all together, you can see that they can all have a very positive impact on the business profitability. Now, you might do a little bit of cutting costs, you might do a little bit of improving efficiency, you might do a little bit of putting your fees up. But what the gist of what the message is here is that you can do all of these things. You can do a bit of all of these things, and the impact on the profits can be very, very significant if you do this and if you follow this through. So really, really, really look at your P&L and look at where you can cut costs, look at where you become more efficient, and look at where you can put the fees up. Okay, so that's the summary of that, but that's the gist of it. There is scope to improve the profitability by understanding these very basic arithmetic issues, but they can have a profound effect on your business performance. Tip 4, 80-20 rule. The Pareto principle, if you haven't heard of it. In a nutshell, 80% of your revenue probably comes from 20% of your services. 80% of your profit probably comes from 20% of your services as well. Examples are, I've seen practices where 80% of their profitability is really coming from Invisalign, or 80% is coming from implants. So what the message here is look at your business and look at where the bulk of your income is coming from, and I bet you it will be a small element. So if you can work on that element harder, make it work better, you can then hopefully generate even more revenue and therefore more profitability. Not going to dwell on this more. I'll go into this more in depth on my call next week in the 5-hour to transform event. But just getting the message here, think about and read about the 80-20 rule. So 3 actions to take tomorrow. Review your fee list. What can you change and by how much? Download your fee list from, if it's on SOE, look at what you can change and change it. Okay, and a small change can have a massive impact. Identify 3 costs to cut. Things such as materials or utilities are always a good starting point. So have a look at where you can cut your costs. Then, thirdly, apply the 80-20 rule to everything that you do. Look at where the bulk of the fee income is coming from. Can you improve that even further by focusing on that 20% of services to generate even more profit from that 20%, which is giving you 80% of your profitability? 3 actions. So, focused on today, cutting costs, efficiencies, pricing, get your accounts done, apply the 80-20 rule. Just a real few ideas for you to understand about how finance can actually help you grow the profitability of your practice. If you like what you're hearing, join us on our next week's 5-hour extravaganza on how to transform your practice profits. There are 5 1-hour sessions. Day 1 is expanding on what profitable practices do right, marketing and customer account. Day 2. Day 3 is understanding your finances to grow profits. Day 4 is leading and building a motivated team. Day 5, mistakes to avoid when growing a practice. The price currently is $199 plus VAT. Goes up to $399 after the 26th. So make sure you get it. Come along. We have quite a few people booked on, but we have some spaces. So we'd love you to come along and learn and share and get some more knowledge and understanding to help you grow the profitability of your practice. There's an opportunity to ask questions, and all the webinars will be recorded. So if you can't attend one of these sessions, you can always watch a recording at a later date. Okay? Thank you. In summary, don't be afraid of finance. Seek help if you need it. You know where we are. And ultimately, the numbers can help tell the story, and you can change the story by understanding the numbers too. And I hope to see you next week at 5 hours to transform your practice profits. Book online, and I will be sending a link to this shortly as well. Hope you've enjoyed it today, and we will catch up very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.